Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jay at the Educated Retirement Radio, KMET, and welcoming you all to another great afternoon to contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. So please give me a call or visit. Do you remember? drheckham.com, DRHECM, which is Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, drhecm.com, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. You'll find all kinds of good stuff there, or you can also look at theeducatedretirement.com, or just email me at Best Loan Today. And you want to give me a call? Call me. Call me right now. Right there, 866-955-2233. Pick up the phone. And why? Other than the future is now. And that's because knowledge is power. So remember to jump over to that YouTube channel, which is a link about halfway down the front page of that site. And you can see all of the shows up until a couple of weeks ago, until I had my surgeries. And then I'm going to get caught up this weekend, I promise. My recovery was not as quick, as Superman type as I thought it was going to be. So I didn't get as caught up yet. But there's a lot of stuff on there, okay? A lot of written information about reverse mortgages, about retirement in general. And then the blog has all kinds of things, all kinds of different types of stories. So my day job, it is with the Loan Source, NMLS is my number, my NMLS number or license number, 384-565. Department of Real Estate is 792-630. And today is National Lost Penny Day. So just so now you can learn something, the first penny was designed by Benjamin Franklin and minted in 1787. The penny we know today with the likeness of Abraham Lincoln was minted in 1909 and released on this day, February 12th, in 1909. So I guess that has a mint date of 1909. And if you want to know anything else, make sure you wake up about 4 in the morning and that guy is yelling at you about coins for 3 hours every morning. So be it. I used to be a numismatist, so I remember a lot about coins. And yes, I did have a 1909 S for San Francisco, VDB, which was the initials, but that's another story. Also, what is today? And I thought I would have heard much more about this, but I didn't. But you're hearing it from me. New Year's Day, Chinese New Year's, is today, and it is the year of the ox. So let me give you a saying, one of the many sayings that come out of this holiday. May a river of gold flow into your pockets. You hear that, Sean? That's for you. May a river of gold flow into your pockets. The most fireworks. Do you know what day of all the days of the year has the most fireworks? What day is the most fireworks set off? It is Chinese New Year's. And that's according to legend. A monster named Nain would come around every New Year's Eve. Now, most people would hide, like me, from the monster in their homes. But one year, a young lad fought him off with firecrackers. And firecrackers are set off at midnight and again the next morning to celebrate the new year and good luck and fighting off monsters. And speaking of monsters, it's also Paul Bunyan Day, who also got an ox for his first birthday. As a baby, it said that he could eat 40 bowls of porridge each day. It said that he created the Grand Canyon by dragging his axe behind him, and he created the 10,000 lakes of Minnesota with his and Babe's, Babe being the name of his ox, footprints just by walking around. Of course, Mount Hood, as we all know, was created when he put stones in his campfire. So, he was a good camper, and he wanted to make sure he didn't leave any fires or anything like that. But we do believe in challenging status quo. Families and people need to be active, not reactive, and, we are. But, let me have a cup of coffee here, and then we'll talk about famous people's birthdays, as we usually do. But before I do, I just want to mention that very, very famous and a favorite jazz pianist of mine and musician, Chick Corea, passed away yesterday. And I bet I've got, I don't know, I bet I've got 40 of his LPs, maybe more. I mean, maybe more. Just amazing. And Tone Poet just came out a little bit ago with that's a audiophile release. Great sounding things of one of his records, and I don't know. Just sorry to see him have gone. It was a rare type of cancer, I guess. But, you just don't hear people dying of cancer all that much anymore. Some do, of course. But Josh Brolin was born on this day in 1968. He's an American actor of over 50 films and son of James Brolin. And he was born to a wildlife activist. I don't know if she was wild or activist. And actor James Brolin. And raised on a ranch in Templeton. Kind of wine country area, nice area. He started his career early with Richard Donner's The Goonies. I swear, The Goonies has to be on television more than any other film ever made. It's just crazy. My wife loves it beyond belief. Me, it's okay.
Sean Astin was in it.
Oh yeah, Sean Astin. Who else was in it? Sean Astin, the guy from the kid from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Hamburger.
Who?
Short Round.
Short Round.
Yeah.
I used to be taller and round, but I ain't so round anymore. Say that again?
I said hamburger.
Hamburger, whatever. I don't know. And for some reason, the part of that gets me is where it was filmed. I kind of have gotten this fascination with Astoria, Oregon. And because that's where all of it took place. And I'm on Realtor.com giving me updates on homes with, water views and things like that. Here's a picture of Josh then and, well, closer to now, anyway. I really think he's a great actor. But he and Johnny Depp were both the finalists for 21 Jump Street. And although Johnny got the role, they remain very close friends up to this day. And in the 1980s, Josh belonged to a group of friends who stole cars and called themselves the Cito Rats, C-I-T-O Rats. Wonder if they still have any of those cars. Anyway, then he was a drummer in a band called Rich Kids on LSD that played all over Los Angeles. Rich Kids on LSD. Of the movies, and I don't remember all of this, but I guess Mimic was one of his first. Let me see that. There's a laser disc thing. Now, to me, Mimic was the first real time that Guillermo del Toro showed up. And I know he had probably a hard time with the studios, okay? So whatever that means. He turned out to have quite a career, regardless of what anybody thought of Mimic. But I enjoyed it at the time. Oh, and it also had, let me see that again, please. It also starred, uh, oh, it doesn't have the guy, the Italian guy that was, you know,
Oh,
this.
yeah.
That's, I mean, I don't know why his name isn't first. Great, great actor that played in so many great films that I remember, like Seven Sisters, and I'll try to find the rest of it on that. But an amazing actor. And No Country for Old Men was next.
Gianni.
What's his name? Yeah. No Country for Old Men, which I've got around here, but I don't seem to have it in front of me. The Coen brothers did that, of course. Oscar for Best Film, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Director. Also, Screen Actors Guild for Outstanding Cast on that one. And he was, of course, a part of that cast. American Gangster, which I do have around here someplace. That was what, Ridley Scott, I believe. And W from Oliver Stonebaum. And and I found this out reading about it yesterday when we were looking things over, that President Bush actually really liked this movie. He was also in Men in Black 3. And let me tell you one that I just love. And we've talked about Paul Thomas Anderson several times, and his beloved father, the famous Ghoulardi. But I really got to know this movie because several years ago, we stayed at the Ace Hotel downtown in LA. Boy, I wish we could do that again these days. And at the Ace Hotel, each room has either a guitar and or a record player, a turntable in it. And there's lots of records you can borrow from the lobby and also right there in the room. This is one of them. I hadn't even heard of this film, not much. Inherent Vice. I love this film. I think it's one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best. I think that it is, what's his name? The Joker. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. There you go.
Sorry.
But thank you. Did you see Inherent Vice, or have I asked you before, Sean?
I have not.
I highly, I mean, I think it is so funny and so good. It's just amazing. This 10-inch limited disc is $22.58 out of 3,000. This was in the room at the Ace Hotel. And I really loved it. So I asked if I could buy it, and they said, oh, just go ahead and take it. So I did. So let me highly recommend the Ace Hotel to you. Then a few weeks later, that was the 10-inch. I actually found a 2-record set of the 12-inch of all the music in it. And then that's when I really learned that so much of this great music is written by Johnny Greenwood. And you know who Johnny Greenwood is? He's from Radiohead. And of course, we have a lot of people from the world of rock. And Radiohead is one of those more outstanding groups. But Johnny Greenwood, I hate to just harp on that, but it is so good, I think. And Josh Brolin is so funny in it, it's crazy. It's also Forrest Tucker's birthday. He was born in 1919, and he stayed with us until 1986. Now, we've brought him up a few times because lately we have talked about The Crawling Eye and the Abominable Snowman that was done by Hammer, which was actually nothing at all like you'd think of. It was very good. So Tucker starred in over 100 films and so much television. So he was a vaudeville straight man at the age of 15. I mean, some of these people have some really, really fun lives, it seems like they. Anyway, in 1933, he pushed tourists around in a large wicker chairs, with wheels by day, and sang Throw Money at Night. Throw money has got to be part of those, like a Barker, which reminds me of the best Barker song I've ever heard, which is, come on now, what's Step Right Up. Step Right Up by Tom Waits. Amazing. Anyway, later he won amateur contest at the Old Gaiety Burlesque Theater in Washington, D.C. And after it closed, he moved to Hollywood looking for a career in film. His first major role was in The Westerner with Gary Cooper. He later did films for Hammer, including The Abominable Snowman, and of course that favorite, wonderful, The Crawling Eye, or the Trollenberg Terror was its real name, but I like Crawling Eye even more better. And there you go. I mean, just an amazing. Now here's a picture. Those identical? These pictures? Oh, it's no use. We have this model that we got at a place called Monsters in Motion. And there it is. But it was too heavy to bring over right now, maybe after I heal up a little more. But I love that eyeball. Anyway, he played in the, what do you give me? Oh, it's kind of small, but you can probably see it. I love eyeballs that crawl around on their own, don't you? And what I got there? Oh, another one. This is pretty small, but so be it. Anything with an eyeball, you know what I mean? So he also played in the original national touring production of The Music Man, playing the role over 2,000 times. And before we go too far, we showed this the other day, but this is a rather thoughtful film. It's not at all what you might think. The Abominable Snowman. So it was directed by Val Guest, and who is a favorite of ours also. So take a look for it. But, I still think of him as starring in the film of The Music Man. And it isn't him. It's actually Robert Preston is in the movie, but I just keep thinking of only our man here, who is also, of course, F Troop, as well as appearances in Rawhide and Gunsmoke. And what do we have here? The Night They Raided Minsky's. He was also in there. Okay. And how could you forget The Night They Raided Minsky's with Jason Robards, who, one of my favorite. Burt Lahr, Jason Robards, Britt Eklund. I mean, I love that one too. Also on today is Christina Ricci's birthday, 1980. Now, I'm bringing her up because, she's been in a lot of films, but because of her association with a couple other people that we really love on this show and talk about quite a bit. And that has to do with her relationship with the work of Johnny Depp, Terry Gilliam, and Michael Gambon. So she appeared in 53 films, including The Addams Family, Casper the Ghost, Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp, and I hope you were around last week to hear our guest, Mr. Brennan, talk about licensing your personal information or licensing your ideas. I thought that was so important and something I just don't think about. And anything that is your idea can be licensed. So you can make a lot of money by opening a large company, or you can just license your ideas. But he started off with Tim Burton's by doing the intellectual property licensing for Tim Burton's Batman movie. So that was Rand, and that was Warner Brothers that said that. She was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, also with Johnny Depp, and also from a favorite director of ours, which would be, you know who? Terry Gilliam, of course. So I don't think we need to mention too much more about Terry Gilliam. Sleepy Hollow also starred Michael Gambon. There's Sleepy Hollow. Now, I love Michael Gambon, and if his name isn't a household word to you yet, I really suggest you take a good look, because Michael Gambon became the second Albus Dumbledore after Richard Harris left the planet. And Gambon became my hero when he portrayed a lead in another Potter vehicle. This is not Harry Potter. Well, there's the Harry Potter one. But this would be Dennis Potter, the fella who wrote The Singing Detective. This is a masterpiece to me. I mean, this is amazing. I would run right out, get a copy, or take a look at it, look for it somewhere on either Amazon or some other streaming, Netflix. Love this thing and have for a long time. Don't remember when it came out. But in it, he plays a detective, a writer of detective stories with writer's block by the name of Philip Marlowe. How about them apples? Potter also wrote such classics as Pennies from Heaven. And that, that's 4 records in there. Steve Martin, Bernadette Peters, Jessica Harper, and on and on. And promotional copy, that's good. Okay, another high point was her co-starring in Monster, Therese Theron, who won an Academy Award for that. Okay, and just want to let you know I should be talking about what I do for a living, but we're not gonna. We got plenty of time for that if we want to. This Day in History, 7 Days in May, was released in 1964. And as we have mentioned before, it was a screenplay by Rod Serling, directed by John Frankenheimer, and starred Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. And if this isn't a good enough film for you, then how about the #1 film of all time, perhaps, Creature from the Black Lagoon, released on this day in 1954. And this is one of the guy's autographs. We got this, I think, while we were roaming around in
Monsters in Motion.
Monsters in Motion. This is the guy that played the underwater one. They had 2 different ones, one above water and one underwater. But with that, let me just say we'll be back in a minute after we have a break, and Valerie Vandezilver will be with us to share a whole lot of what she knows, which is a lot. So just want to say have a great few minutes and talk to you soon. Bye-bye. As I drift off with that music, happy to have you back here. You're listening to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your home planet, 1490 KMET AM radio, the Mighty Met, and where we're going to remind you to give me a call anytime you want at 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233, or look me up anytime that you would like at drheckham.com. That's DRHECM, which stands for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, anytime, and we can take it from there. So we have with us, however, one of our best guests, a repeat offender from the past, which would be Valerie Van de Zilver. And if you do or do not remember, you will remember if you listened, because she's kind of unforgettable, in my opinion. She told us a great story about the first time she was on. She is a repeat offender, at least a couple of times, and hopefully several more times. Her husband went on this road trip. It wasn't a race, it was a rally. It was called Peking to Paris. And it was one of the most entertaining shows we ever had. It had very little to do with business, but a whole lot to do with how to enjoy life. And that's what we're here to talk to Valerie about, too, is how to enjoy life, how to best keep ourselves going as we are growing older, and, everything we can do to stay younger. I mean, we don't have to cheat age, but we do have to stay busy and stay occupied and stay happy. So let me go ahead and first just introduce Valerie. I mean, she's all over social media. She does so many more videos than I do, and there's so much we can learn from her, no matter what kind of a subject we happen to land on. So go ahead, please, Valerie. Go ahead and just say hello, and we'll just roll on from there.
Hi, and happy Valentine's Day season to everyone.
Oh, yes. Happy Valentine's Day.
It's not quite Valentine's Day weekend yet, and it's not Valentine's Day, so let's just call it the Valentine's Day season.
Yeah, well, it's only a couple days off, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And you're dressed, you have Valentine color on.
I do. I thought it was appropriate that I wear something red or pink today, so I have something pink on.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Whatever I'm wearing, it's usually a lot of it. But, I keep forgetting I'm not that large anymore. So,
You're not. You look amazing. But you always looked good. I always hate that when somebody says, "Oh, you look so good." Well, that means I didn't look good before, but
yeah, well, I understand.
But we're glad that you're healthy. That's what we care about.
Well, I really, really appreciate that. And thank you so much for that. So go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself for those people that don't remember, or those people who are new to having you as a guest.
I have been, I guess it's a fair thing to say that I'm professional real estate professional.
Yeah. How long have we been working kind of together?
Oh, a long time.
40 years? Is that too many? Maybe close to it?
It's pretty close.
Okay.
It's pretty close. I've been in the real estate profession my whole adult life. I grew up wanting to be a missionary nurse in Africa, and at some point in time decided that wasn't the best thing for me. And after that, I really didn't know what else to do. It's all I had ever wanted to do. So I stumbled upon a job in a new home community in Irvine, and entered the world of real estate, and it's all I've ever done. I've been worked for home builders, some of the largest home builders in California, in the fields of sales and marketing. Then I started a mortgage business and stumbled upon Jay, and I just have somebody calling me, so we'll get them off my screen. And yeah, we get them. And Jay and I worked together, and after eventually I started doing selling resale homes, as well as having a mortgage business. And we have a vacation rental management company. We do some property management. So anything related to real estate is what I love to do. And I love helping people in their real estate transactions, because I see a lot of people who are taken advantage of, or who don't have someone giving them advice which is in their best interest rather than the interest of the person giving the advice. So that's what I do. I never get tired of it.
No, and you never seem to, and you're always, not only do you not get tired of it, but you always have new ideas.
I do.
Always.
That's true. I do.
And that keeps you vital, and it keeps the rest of us going too.
Yes, I hope so. Yes.
I know so.
The last few years I've started doing videos and video marketing and teaching other people to do video marketing. And that makes life fun. And I discovered some new things to do with that. Would love to help people, anyone who's interested in either how to do video marketing for their business or just how to use videos in their own life to make their life more interesting and to memorialize their life and their journeys and so forth. That's me.
That is you. And I see you every day on social media, one or two or three different places.
Well, I hope so.
So, well, yeah, so do a lot of other people. Now, I know you're a real expert at real estate and at lending and the whole thing. You also have a business that handles, I believe, vacation rentals, things like that. So I'd like to kind of hit on all three. We just kind of hit, other than social media and marketing, which is something else we can talk about. But I'd like to hit upon those three different things that you do specialize in, like, let's say, real estate. So to start with, so what do you think of today's market in general? I mean, I can tell you what I think of it too, but since you're, to me, more of an expert, I'm more confined into my reverse mortgage atmosphere. So I don't see, and I see what's happening there, and it's all good things. But I would look to someone like yourself to find out more about what's happening in the larger world, and especially Southern California and that kind of thing.
Well, it certainly is a crazy market. That's a good word to describe it. Everybody believes that, everybody knows it, and everybody sees it. And of course, it's a great time to be a seller because you get multiple offers and so forth. But I think that some people would think that in a market like this, it's really easy to sell or buy a home, mostly to sell a home and what you need a realtor for. But actually, there's reasons why you should have professional representation.
Always, other than just all the legal ramifications. But go ahead.
So people are buying homes with no appraisal contingencies, no loan contingencies, in itself is okay. I mean, if you're well qualified and you honestly, but if you've been pre-approved by your lender, and if you've got enough money that the appraisal comes in low, you can afford to pay a little
Right.
bit.
You've got to be able to overcome that. If the appraisal comes in low, your loan's not going to be as high as you had planned it to be, and therefore you have to make up the difference.
Right. And that's not especially bad, but you just need to be sure that you have a lender and a realtor who knows how to protect you. I see some people waiving their inspection contingencies, which I think you should do your best not to do. It may look like the house is great, but then an inspector will go in there and find little things that you or I would never see.
Correct. And what's the big deal? I mean, what are you going to do by waiving that? I mean, you're going to have an inspector come out in a few days anyway, and then you can always sit down with the seller, buyer, whatever, and argue anyway whether that's real or not real. So, you always need somebody else's opinion, correct?
That's right. So unless you have a lot of money, unless you're able to do stuff on your own, there's really, if you don't have to waive an appraisal contingency, that's good not to do. By the same token, if you are qualified, you are able to waive the appraisal contingency, then that gives you a real advantage because who knows how to write the offer, that gives you an advantage over other buyers. And trust me, there are a lot of offers out there, but price isn't everything. I know when I am looking at listings, of course we look at price, but it depends on how good of a job agents do at writing and presenting the offers. And if your agent isn't doing a good job of writing the offer, it doesn't matter how much money you offer, it's not going to be a good transaction for the seller. So there's a lot of things that I see going on that are disadvantages to buyers. I see buyers all the time in difficult situations or losing deals because their offer was written poorly by their realtor. And the buyer doesn't know any different. They don't know how their offer is being written, right? They don't understand
No,
that.
they don't. And most people don't understand the things you just brought up that could really put one person's offer way ahead of somebody else's. And I'll bet you 9 out of 10, if not more, realtors never even think of those things about like those appraisal contingencies and that. I mean, you just taught me that for the first time.
So I had an offer written this week, and the agent said, "Oh, I've got a great buyer. You know, we're going to write it, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that." I'm sending the offer right over, and I had 2 offers. So the offer came over. He didn't have a closing date on there at all.
Small details, huh?
Small detail. He wrote as a cash offer when it wasn't cash, and the
Uh-oh.
buyer didn't have the money to pay cash. He didn't shorten any of the inspection contingencies, although in the multiple listing we said, before you submit your offer, you have to shorten the inspection contingencies. And I called the gentleman and said, I don't think you meant me to have this offer. I'm going to give you the courtesy of letting you know that it's not right, and give you the opportunity to rewrite it before I submit it to the seller. And his response was, it's no big deal. He says, you just counter us on everything. And I said, no, I'm not going to give you a counter offer that you need to, number one, put a closing date. If
Those
you do,
people, they need to do their work too, right?
absolutely. So I see so many times that that it is an easy market, but the seller still could not be getting the best possible deal because his agent doesn't represent him properly, his or her. So I just encourage people to watch and interview their agent, ask their agent some pointed questions, like how do you respond to multiple offers? How do you review multiple offers? How do you decide, or how do you help us decide which offer is the best? How do you communicate with the other agents? There's so many things.
Boy, I'll tell you, there are. And so you are getting multiple offers these days, correct? Still?
We are still getting multiple offers. Many, many, many offers.
You know, and prices keep going up, don't they?
They do. I think they're softening a little bit. I should say maybe leveling a little bit.
Okay.
But they are strong prices, and I see that all over the country. But as long as we have 1% and 2% interest rates, I think that's going to.
God, I never would have believed. The house I'm sitting in right now, and I've mentioned this before, I believe when we bought it, we took over a first trust deed with Bank of America at 15%.
Yeah.
And then we had to put a second on it of 19%. And I'm still here. And
you and I made,
yeah.
You and I made loans in those days too.
Oh yeah. And you know, it's what existed, and you'd make the best of what is existing, right?
Absolutely.
But right now, look at these rates, and that's, I think, the most important part of prices and why prices keep going up. You know, I've got some people that say, oh, the market's going to have a bust here in 6 months or a year. Well, let me say, in my opinion, what if it does to some degree? I mean, it won't be a bust, it might be a correction. But what was it better? When you bought the property today at this interest rate, or if you bought the property a year from now at a lower price, but with a higher interest rate, where did you do better? You did better buying it today, right?
Right.
And that's what I think has to stay in the front of people's minds. Is this ain't going to happen very often. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you how long it's going to go on, but my God, it is going on right now. So take advantage, be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And before we go too much further, give out all of your information for now. We're concentrating now on people buying and selling, basically buying homes. So if you're looking to buy a home, no matter where you end up, you need, in my opinion, Valerie is the #1 place to get information. She is like your, the book on the shelf that you take off to learn what you're going to be talking about. So go ahead, Valerie, give out all your information, then we'll keep going.
My cell phone number, so you can reach me direct. I'm going to give you my cell phone number is 714-334-9156. That's 714-334-9156. I can service you anywhere in California and am happy to do that. My goal is always to make sure that my clients feel better taken care of than anybody else. I want to make sure that everyone feels that I've taken good care of them and that their interest was more important to me than my interest. That's what I care about the most. My email is also very simple. It's Valerie@ValerieV.com, because my last name is Vandesilver, starting with a V. So it's Valerie@ValerieV.com. And Valerie is spelled VALERIE @ValerieV.com. Those are the two ways to reach me. And my website is www.zilverrealty.com. That's ZILVERREALTY.com. It has a double R in it. www.zilverrealty.com. But just text me or send me an email. That's the best way. Let me know that you saw me on Jay's show, and I'll get right back to you.
And how about all those videos on social media? Is there a quick way to kind of connect with you on there? I know I get notifications, so I don't have to look for you.
Well, if people would like to go into my Instagram account, it's therealvaleriev.com, or no, not .com on Instagram, The Real Valerie V. You can go on YouTube and look for Valerie Vandesilver. My videos are there. And if you have, especially Jay, if anyone listening to this call or watching this call or listening has a business that they would like me to feature.
Now you're talking.
Local businesses and restaurants. We love to feature local, independently owned businesses, whether you have a roofing company, an insurance company, a tire company, a car repair shop, a beauty shop, a restaurant, a cafe, a small boutique. We would love to feature you on our show. It's called OC Vibes, and we'll come out and do a professional video. We don't just do one of those, just where everybody's standing there and we take pictures of scenes. We talk to you and we communicate with you.
Right.
Ask you about
what a great opportunity.
Yep. So if anyone would like to do that, or anyone that you'd like to have featured, you've got a relative or a friend that we should be talking to, just send them my way.
Absolutely. Now, what about areas? You said you'd be happy to help anybody in the state of California. And do you have any opinions? Because on this show, we talk to a lot of older people, not as old as me, but, older people. And as far as some of them may want to downsize or move from one area to another. So we're not going to bring in reverse mortgage to talk about right now, because that's a different subject. But are there any areas that you think that you might be able to turn on these people to? I'm trying to talk like a younger person now.
New term, Jay, that's not, we've always thought of downsizing. Now it's called right sizing.
Oh, right. Oh, you know what? You are right. I've been sick too long this time. It is right sizing, because downsizing is a negative word.
Well, downsizing isn't negative, especially, but right sizing is another word. So what is right sizing? Well, maybe you need a den. Maybe you need an office area.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't need as many bedrooms, but you'd like to have a place where you could work at home, or you have a hobby room, or a place where your kids can come, or you need a lot big enough to build an auxiliary dwelling unit, an AD.
Or you need a room big enough to hold 8,000 or 9,000 LPs, because you're still buying them.
That's right. That's right. Or you need a place
Excuse me.
for mother-in-law, or you want your kids to have a place where you can come. So all of that is called right sizing.
Yeah.
What is the right size of the home for you?
And I'm seeing like 55 plus. Boy, I wish I were 55. I can hardly remember that long ago. 55 plus areas out near the Great Park or whatever. It looks like they're 3 or 4 stories tall for 55 plus, but they come with elevators.
Some of them do, yes, yes. So in Orange County, you'll find that, of course, they're a little bit pricier. If you go out to
Right.
the Hem area or in Temecula or in Murrieta,
Yeah.
those areas, Riverside, Corona, there's a lot of properties that are much less expensive than Orange County. Maybe the temperature's a little bit hotter, but those are great opportunities. Also, I have clients that move to Arizona and move back to the Hemet area because they like the environment and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are moving out of state also.
Which I guess I can understand. I mean, I kind of like California. What can I say? You know, been
Well-
here a long, long, long time. Been here since I was 6 years old, so I'm kind of stuck here. I know that some things are more expensive here, but then again, some things are maybe worth more here. For instance, real estate is worth more. Gas for the car is a little more money, but then again, we don't have smog everywhere like we used to when I was young. So be it, you know.
Well,
And-
if anybody's thinking of moving out of state, we have a network of agents who we work with, who we're close friends with all over the country. So whatever state anybody's thinking of moving to,
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea.
let me give them someone to work with who definitely is our kind of values and who will take good care of them.
And that's what everybody needs. Everybody needs that.
That's true.
And you know, it's like you belong to a network. When you call or when you feel you're a part of Valerie, professional, whole conglomeration, we want to call it. It is just that. It's bigger than you think. And you're going to be taken care of everywhere up and down the line. So make sure you have her information again and again, and we will get to it again. We're going to get ready for probably another break here in about a minute, and then we'll come back. We've been talking to Valerie Van about Peking to Paris road races and what's so hot and what's so important about being able to buy real estate. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, you're part of one side of that equation or the other. But I know Valerie has a lot more to add as far as, say, selling property, as far as the vacation home business that she runs. One of the shows she was on, she gave some really, really good advice, which I'd kind of like to hear somewhat again about how to handle and how to face down the COVID-19 lockdown right now. And I thought that was so good the last time you were on, Valerie, and we talked a little bit about that, because all of that connects to all of this business also. So we have 1 minute, so we will probably let Sean take it away here real soon. And then we'll come back, but we've got so much more to talk about. I didn't write down any outline or anything because I know you and we don't need that. But it's really, really good to see you dressed up like Valentine's Day. And we'll get back to it in just a very, very quick break probably, and we've got so much more to talk about with Valerie Van de Zilver. Thanks so much, and be back in a minute.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.